of the fact that you're a racist, you're a bigot, and the fact that the only reason you're campaigning for equality is that you suddenly find yourself a member of the undead. What do you have to say to these claims?
It's quite racist, isn't it?
Public opinion seems divided as to whether the undead should be allowed a political voice.
I haven't got much view on it, to be honest. It's not really on, but I don't know too much about it.
No, I think it's like everyone. It's not too bad,
I didn't know there was one.
We get quite a lot of them up here.
Ooh, concerned?
Yeah, man. Nah, man. Yeah, man.
We return to the university to get Professor Morecambe's view about the undead entering politics. On our arrival, we made a discovery more startling than we had expected.
Professor Morecambe? Professor Morecambe? Are you in? We have a meeting arranged. Professor Morecambe? Professor Morecambe? Doug?
Sorry, I must have been dozing. Come in. Come in. Sit down. Take a seat. Would you like a cup of tea?
Please.
Minty fresh.
It transpired that the stress and strain of Professor Morecambe's job had led him to take his own life.
So, Professor, it's been about a year since we've last seen you. Sure, we agree that some changes have taken place. What's happened?
Extraordinary, isn't it? Extraordinary. Well, I mean, this has taken my research to a whole new level. The stress got to me and I shot myself with a revolver. As you can see, it's pretty miserable actually. And this was something that we were looking at when I was alive. And the psychological effects of being undead are pretty bad, and far worse than actually the stress I was going through when I was alive.
Somewhat ironic, I'm sure you'll agree.
Ironic is one way of describing it, yes.
So will you be continuing with your research now?
Yes, I'm trying to find a cure. I've tried numerous ways of continuing to try and end my life, but I keep returning to this undead state. This bullet wound here, there's actually 4 bullets lodged in my head from 3 subsequent attempts on my life.
So when you say a cure, what you're essentially saying is death. You're seeking death, is that correct?
Yes.
So you're not, in a way, you're not searching for a cure, you're not searching to return to life.
No.
Obviously, would that be an ideal situation?
That would be impossible.
But not as impossible as being a zombie, some might say.
Do I look impossible to you? I don't think so.
Do you have any ties to the Unliving Party, George Campbell's party that he's recently set up in Bristol?
That man is a fraud. That man is an imbecile. And as far as I'm concerned, I want to have nothing to do with Mr. Campbell. He is everything that is bad about being undead. To seek power, to seek some kind of recognition for basically what we are, which is we are beyond any usefulness on this world, and I seek to bring about the end of the undead and our kind, so that we can move on into a peaceful and fitful sleep.
Okay, so in many ways, this is what you're trying to bring about. It's a zombie holocaust.
Yes, a zombie holocaust. Of course it is. Yes. Yes.
Looking to the future now, what's your vision, aside from the apocalypse, what's your vision in the sort of short-term future for Bristol Zombies? How are you going to go about continuing your undeath? How are you going to move on?
The thing to do is to bring about some kind of resolution between us, the undead, and the living population of Bristol, and to somehow try and discover a way of preventing any more of the living becoming undead at the point of death. And this will be the focus of my research in order to finally bring about an end to this plague, this torrent of misery that is befalling the living people of Bristol. I think it's terrible.
Let me ask you this, Professor Morecambe. Dubstep. What do you think?
I think dubstep is probably the best music that I've heard, and I didn't get into it until you mentioned it in our earlier interview. I decided to check some out, and it took me a while to get into it. It was only after I shot myself the first time that I really began to appreciate the droning, unmelodious, rather plodding, dull beats and the rather puerile craftsmanship that goes with them really does something for me.
Despite the undead population's steady increase, it appears that these creatures are not in fact the monsters as portrayed in the movies, but something altogether more normal. One thing's for sure in Bristol, life and death go on.
An incredible journey as a film crew. I'd just like to thank you personally for talking to us. Any final thoughts?
Yes, I say it's been an honour to be part of what you're doing, and I hope there can be some positive outcome from all of this. Excuse me. You know, just because you're undead doesn't mean you don't need to look after your personal hygiene.
Thank you.
Does it look like I need... I'm not Elizabeth Prinkins! Fuck off!
There's one. There's one. There's one.
There is one.
Great, that looks great.
I do move.
My parents' place, they're from Dublin. I was actually born in Clapham, but I grew up here in Bristol, but they're originally from... It's probably not relevant.
I knew about murder, you know.
It was something was a shock to me. Excuse me. Someone's trying to Skype me. I should ignore them. More important things.